Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff, and in this video we're going to do a first impressions review of this Airfix Classic kit, the Great Western. So in my April roundup I gave people a tour of the stash as it currently is, and a couple of people requested that I did some inbox reviews of some of the items in my stash, and this is the first one of those requests. So let's have a look. So I'm not quite sure when this kit came out. I did try and do a little bit of research, and the earliest date I could find was 1980. I suspect it's actually a bit older than that, but it might be the case. However, this is the 2006 rebox of the kit. On the box we have the Airfix logo, we have the scale, which is 1/180 scale. We have a picture there of Mr. Brunel, and we have a picture, quite a nice piece of artwork of the ship, which is the same artwork that was on the original box, but they didn't have this elliptical window. So this came out to mark the 200th anniversary. And then it shows you that you get some Humbrol products included, some glue, a brush, six paints and so on. If we look at the sides, we get basic information including the kit part number on that side, kit part number being 08252G. And on this side we get some warning information, age 8+, and then nothing new on that side. And then on this end here you get the paint call outs, and I think that's a tiny bit of brief history. So not much to the box really. First thing out of the box is a bag which has the paints, which I'm fairly sure I'll probably pass their best being in these plastic containers. However, we might be able to clean the containers up and use them as mixing pots. And then we'll have a tube of glue. Now I know some people chuck the tube polycement away. I personally don't. It's a really good glue for putting together hull halves, particularly if they're older kits and they're quite meaty plastic. So I quite like this glue for that. It's nice and thick and it gives you a reassuring feeling that that's never coming apart again. Anyway, that's our bag of goodies. So let's take a look at the instructions. So you can see this box hasn't really been opened since it was first released and on the market, because the pages haven't yellowed. So we've got a booklet there that's stapled in a portrait configuration, and you've got the original artwork from the original box release on here, and it says PS Great Western 1837. Then on the inside we have a little bit of history in three different languages. Then we have some basic instructions, study the drawings, that type of thing, and the assembly icons there. And then as we turn over the page, we start with the first steps, and what we've got is the line drawing style of instructions. So we've got the parts called out and arrows depicting where they go. What I can't see is instructions for the paint. Nope, doesn't appear to be shouting out paint as we go. Anyway, so here we go. We've got the build instructions. So we're starting with two hull halves and the deck, and we've got their traditional tall ship style stand, which you'll see on all of their kits from the 50s and 60s. Then we have the raised poop deck area going on, skylights, and bits and pieces like that. Then we build up the two paddle steam wheels. Then we go to step 4 and we build the inner assemblies for those wheels. Then we put the made up steam wheels on, paddle wheels on, and then we put the outer casing on, which is all one big piece. Then we've got some hull details going on, the stack. We've got figurehead and some stuff that looks a bit period sailing ship, and then you've got the sort of more modern transition here with ship's boats being slung over the side, hung off davits. And we've got the ship's wheel and some ladders, rudder. Then we've got the bases for the rat lines going on, ready for the rigging. Mast assembly, mast fitting, and we've got some rigging details, vertical and horizontal. And this is to do with the positions on the rigging tool, I believe. So we have fine cotton, single line, dotted line is double cotton, and then we've got fine string. So I'm guessing we've got different threads in the box. And then it says, please place rat line on template and cut round. So we've got a template there for the rat line. I'm guessing that is for all of them. So flip over, then we've got the sails. They're getting numbered, lettered there, sorry, and then positioned on there. Doesn't really give you any instructions on how to attach them, just you do it. Then at the end we've got the paint instructions, which are done in those different black and white patterns to denote where they go. So 21 being copper hull, light blue 65, so that's for the windows in the skylight, golden brown 62, so that's sort of all the side positions and the tops, sort of wood I'm guessing. Then you've got 103 is buff, and that's for the decks, and then 33 black, which appears to be just this, whatever that is at the front. We'll have a look at that in a minute. So yeah, so that's all of your paint shout outs. Got positioning of the flag there, and a couple of blown up pictures there where you can see more closely what colours to paint. Then we've got the rigging tool, so we've got the instructions behind what they call the rigging machine. I think a machine is stretching it a little bit. It's two bits of plastic that are become adjustable, and basically you wrap the cotton around it, glue the rat lines, and then snip them off. It's actually really good, and I've got a couple of these tools from previous builds I know that I keep hold of, because they're actually a really good way of making your rat lines. And then we have a couple of blank pages at the back. So that is the instructions. So I'm pleased to say that my sails are in really good condition. So what we've got here, these are typical of Airfix. Other companies tended to do plastic. Thinking of some of the old kits that I've bought, they had plastic sails and they were very thick. So this was a way of having a sail that was thinner in appearance, and actually don't look too bad. It was quite a good solution. They're actually thinner than the material ones I use on wood chips, which is interesting. And they've got patination on them, and you can give them a clear coat, and then you can stain them and make them look a little bit more worn and stuff. So and pick out some of the rigging lines and stuff, and they don't look too shabby. They don't look too shabby. But yeah, as vat formed sails go, these are in good condition. Quite often they get a bit dented and they do yellow over time. So don't be tempted to just put them on natural. You do need to paint them really. Okay, so that's the sails. So next out we have the two hull halves. And they are pretty much devoid of any detail. And if you think about their HMS Victory, which is the same scale, I think, they have all the little copper tiles as raised detail on the bottom, and they could have done that with this. So you might be tempted, if you wanted to maybe get some copper tape and make your own tiles for this. I think that would look a lot better than just painting it copper. We've got some fairly heavy sink there. If we look inside, we've got ejector pin marks there, which have caused a bit of sink, but that's the only real sink I can find in there. So we've got a little bit of sink there, and then a larger one there. There's some detail around the bow there, and these have little like gun ports that go over them, and then we've got a space here for the gallery. We've got the hinges there for the rudder, and then we've got some of the bits picked out there. So not too bad, very basic. I mean, it's just a slab of plastic really. We have location pins on the inside. Because of the sprues, I can't really marry this together, but the two halves look to be straight and not warped, so that's quite good. If I put the bow together, I might be able to do that. There we go. And like all of the tall ships that you can buy from Airfix, they're re-releasing them at the moment currently. They're great kits if you're a fan of lots and lots of clean-up, because there is lots of clean-up. But I've certainly seen worse. So that's the hull. So next out we have the deck, and as you would expect, we've got raised deck lines, we've got no butt joints. See if I can put some better light on that. You can see that. We've got some sink there. I don't know whether that'll be seen or covered up. And there's a bit of flash there, and possibly an imperfection. But yeah, not too bad. Don't know what you've got a grate in there. It's quite heavy but doable. I don't know whether I think the skylights go on top of there. So yeah, I mean, again, it's very basic. You've got the holes there for the masts, and not a lot else really. Got manufacturing lump. I think the solution for the deck would be to try and sand the raised lines off and get it smooth, and then maybe either overlay it with some thin wood veneer cut into strips, or potentially you could use masking tape and cut that into planks, put that down and paint it. That could probably look quite good. Let's see if we can, if I just take that off, let's see if we can do a fit into the hull side. So the fit is really quite good. So we have a location line on the inside of the hull, which it sits on, and it fits nicely. There is a little lump there, a tab that the deck goes between. I would be taking that off personally. You can get, and maybe we'll put some supports in the middle, and then we can weight the deck in. There's a little bit I've noticed of sink behind that line there, which would need filling, but not too bad. It's not. It's certainly not the amount of work that the Victory model is, that's for sure. So here's my first sprue out, and you can see it's well, I call it a sprue. It's a tree. So it's the old style tree, which again suggests this might be older than 1980. So we've got one half of the stack, which has got plenty of lovely flash on. We've got the stern galleries there, which are nicely detailed but plenty of flash. We've got the two outer halves for the wheel, and I've got all sorts of moulding imperfections and lumps in there. You can see that. Lots of little lumps and bumps, so that's going to need some careful sanding. Got some big sink caused by those, which we need to sort out. Yeah. And this is the front section of that raised poop deck with some deck doors and some more sink. Ship's wheels aren't too bad, neither are the cross members for the anchors. And I'm not quite sure don't remember seeing these in the instructions, but we've got lots of them, and they've got lots of flash. Are these to do with these might be the slats for the wheel, for the ship's wheel. Next tree of parts out has has three sections of the paddle wheel, and we have the upper deck, which I'm going to remove because it's flapping about, and that has big smiley face of sink on it. Again, raised deck lines all needs to be sanded back and sorted out. The grating is not too bad, so that's all okay. Anchors are quite nicely moulded. Those are parts for the display stand. We've got the davits there, but again they're not too bad. We've got some oars, and we've got some bits there as well. The parts keep coming. We have another three parts of the paddle wheel there, and actually these are really good in terms of there's no flash. It's cut them out, clean them up, and you're done. There are a few ejector pin marks. Whether they're going to be seen or not, I don't know. I suggest there might be. That seems to be the front face. We've got the other half of the stack here, like its mating partner, who's got a nice level of flash on it just to keep us busy. Then we've got the ship's boats. I do love this, that they used to put the part number on the part, and so they put it in the middle of the ship's boats. You'll be able to see that number through these, so you have to sand all that off. And the ladders, actually the ladders are not as bad as I expected them to be. and they need a little bit of flash cleaning off, and if you can, thin the steps out a bit, but not too bad. And then we've got these skylights, which should all need painting with our window colour of choice around the inside. I personally prefer grey to blue. So the next tree of parts, we've got figurehead, some deck fittings, bigger skylights. We've got those gun port lids, and then we've got the ratline bases, so with the threads already moulded on, so they're quite small. It might be possible to replace them with proper wood ones and thread them properly. They're a bit small, so maybe not. I don't know. We'd have to take a view on that, but if you could, they'd look good. And then these look like the supports that go underneath the chain rails. But you know, it's basic clean-up, and otherwise it's not too bad. This tree of parts has all of the masts on, and it's really pleasing to see that they're not bowed or disformed in any way. It's always better to try and get an older kit so that your parts are better moulded. Some of the re-releases that are coming out, yeah, they've seen better days, and the tool has been exhausted, and then they've carried on using it really. These are the internal bits that go on the deck where the paddle wheel goes. So you've got what looks like a window, and that's it. So maybe a little bit of research so you could do some scratch building. And then we've got the sort of the banister style railing that goes around the poop deck. So yeah, but yeah, the masts look alright, as do the yard arms. Not too shabby as old tall ship models go. So this is my last little tree of parts, and we've got some more parts that go around the structure of the ship and the paddle wheel area. There's nothing on them other than sink. Then we've got the sort of the spotting tops, if you like, for the masts, and then we've got the legend for the display stand. Great Western 1837. So yeah, and that looks nice with the scroll style writing. That looks quite pretty. As is often the case with tall ship models of this sort of period, 50s and 60s. Oh, there we go. We've got a collection of loose parts. So we've got the base for the display stand, which appears to be disformed, short shot, or whatever that problem is there, but nothing that can't be sorted out. So the standard display stand. We've got some gangways which go above the deck, all raised detail, but should clean up okay. We've got the rudder, which has been damaged. One of the location pegs has snapped off. Has a healthy number of ejection marks and sink, so there's plenty to keep you busy there. Another section of wheel slats, another ladder, and a bit of balustrade. And the last items in the box are a paper flag. We have one spool of string. So what they don't tell you, I don't think in the instructions, or if they do, I missed it because we did just jog through the instructions quite quickly. For the rat lines and things, you'll have to stain those black with some Indian ink or something like that. And then we have the little machine for doing the rigging. So basically, you've got two halves. Pegs go into the holes to make it adjustable, and you can do different heights, and you wrap the strings around these teeth. So let's see if we can show you. So strings go around the teeth, and then one way or another you've made yourself some rat lines. It's a very good method, actually. Whoever invented it was a bit of a genius, I think. This is all in French, interestingly, on here. I've not seen that sort of panel with a note on it before, but yeah, there you go. So, first impressions. Okay, as tall ships go from the Airfix range, this one is one of the better ones in terms of ease of building. And I say that because it's got less issues in terms of clear issues with deformed parts and so on and so forth. So what you've got is a collection of basic parts that need the flash taking off, the sink filling, and the ejector pin marks in one or two places, filling or removing. But that is actually it. If you built it straight out of the box, you're going to get something that's a bit toy-like in appearance. But if you wanted to spend a little bit of time on it and maybe put your copper plates on the bottom and come up with a solution for the planking of the decks, and you put additional rigging on the funnel there, and spent your time to pick out all this gold paint, and put your sails on and do more rigging than they've shown in the instructions, actually you could come up with something that looks quite nice. So I think it's one of those, you can pick these up on eBay. They don't cost a huge amount. How good a kit it is depends on how much time you invest in it. But yeah, as tall ship kits goes, this is probably one of the better ones to get stuck into. Certainly if you've not done one before, or you've not built an older kit before. I'd love to know what year it originally came out, because it looks and feels a bit older than 1980. However, it could be that it is 1980. I don't know. But the stand said 1967 on it, so it could be 1967. I know they had a Great Western out earlier than that, but I think it was smaller scale. But anyway, there you go. That's the Great Western kit. I hope that was helpful. Thanks for looking in. Stay safe, everyone. Hope to see you all again soon.